Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. And today is We Need to Know Wednesday. You're in the Java Cafe this morning. My name is James Jimmy Hills. I am your host. And we are in the process of waiting for our mayor to arrive. We got a choice this morning. Either she will be mobile, which leaves a risk for not having a good connection, or she may be a few minutes late to be stable. And so I'm going to hold it down just for a few minutes as much as I can this morning. Also in the 9:30 hour, we are scheduled to speak to ABCD tax prep program. Bianny Suncar, she'll correct me later, is going to be with us and talk about the great services that are offered at ABCD. While I'm talking about ABCD, I wanted to remind everyone with so much going on to keep in mind that there is a resource available to you. Some of us old folks know it as LIHEAP, but in Massachusetts, it is the HEAP program. And so I am actually going to put a link in the comments right now, a hyperlink to ABCD's services for you to fill out an application, get the eligibility requirements, and you want to do this before April 30th. So we want to make sure that we share that information as we've been for years in partnership with ABCD, making sure that the information is available. Early on, ABCD reached out and said, hey, we want to make sure your audience knows that these services are available. So to all of our former Summer Works and other folks that have been involved with ABCD, this is yet another resource available to you, along with the tax preparation program information that we are going to share with you in just a few moments. As I mentioned, the mayor will be with us in just a few moments. We'll chat with her. And again, ABCD tax prep will be with us. Let's go in the Java Cafe and see who is in so far this morning. Of course, Mama Java, good to see you in the room this morning. Pastor Nariki, good to see you in the room. Beautiful. Also, Donna, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Milagro, good morning to you. Thank you for the video or the inbox. That was right on point. Also, Michael, good to see you in the Manners and Respect families. That's Michael's way of saying good morning. I noticed that the other day. Good to see you in the room. And also Pastor Marion, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. And Milton, brother, good morning. Good to see you in the room this morning. Michelle D. Smith, good to see you in the room this morning as well. And Miss Teresa, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Let's go over on Instagram and see who is over there. And there is our mayor, and she is in the car. So we're going to work it out. We're going to work it out this morning with the mobility. So to not belabor the time and make the best use of her time, let's go in and add in our mayor. Good morning, Mayor Wu. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Oh, wait a minute. I might stand to be corrected. You sound good and you look good. So, I get a little cringe when they say you're mobile.
I'm about, just so you have a sense, I'm probably about like 7 minutes away from getting to where we need to go. And then I'm going to do a quick switch with the baby into the computer. It'll be stable. Okay, so we'll have a commercial break.
All right. Well, cool. Let's do, when you spoke of the baby, as we always do, let's do this sort of in a segment piece while you're mobile, though important. Let's check in and see how you are doing. We have had the chance to speak with you since the appearance in DC. Myra made an appearance at the State of the City. How are you as a mom, as a woman, doing with so much going on right now? How you doing?
I'm good. She's I think 10 or 11 weeks at this point. So sleep is getting a little bit more regulated, just more predictability, not too much more. But she's very relaxed and still comes around with me to most things. And for now, we are just kind of playing it by ear. She doesn't really have a set schedule. And she's still very portable.
I mean, not having a set schedule and a mother being a mayor, I think sometimes she might side eye you and be like, really? But I also, when we're talking about humanity, and you went right to Myra, you didn't answer the question about how you're doing. But I would like you to answer that. And also, as we're talking about humanity yesterday, in our meeting, you had to leave early, and I just wanted to offer you some time, if you would like, just to update folks about the terrible accident that happened in Chinatown yesterday. And so, along with how you're doing, any updates where you can and want to give, just so the community knows and has a sense, because I was on my way there and the helicopters and everything. I'm like, what happened? So those two there, and then we can be proactive and let you transition and then pop back in, and I'll hold it down for those few minutes while you transition. But how are you doing? And then also any updates on the accident yesterday?
I'm as good as anyone can be in just really unpredictable times. We there's just a lot going on, and budget season for the city, and following up on the conversation that we had yesterday is always a time to really think about how much need there is out there and doing our very best at the local level. And this year compared to um, previous years, locally we're still strong, right? Locally we still have very solid ways to plan and support and invest in our resources. But when we know that $300 million of federal funding might get pulled, adds a level of anxiety in how unpredictable things are. And yesterday, going to the scene where a box truck had somehow hit a curb and rolled over, struck 6 people, sent multiple people to the hospital with one critical condition. It was so shocking to see what's usually one of the busiest parts of the city around lunchtime, Chinatown, totally empty, right? Everything was taped off. The truck was still kind of there on its side. And, it's just one more sign. We're always having to be prepared for the unexpected in this job. But these days, it really does feel like with the added federal stuff, there's something every day, almost every hour that comes up that feels like it's going to really need a response to protect our residents and our communities.
That is, and what I'll do is I observed some things yesterday. The mayor and I referring to my role as a commissioner, and the city has dedicated to meeting with us. And one of the things that was so interesting, and I'll explain that. I'll let you go ahead and transition proactively. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and pop back on, and I'll hold it down for a couple of seconds. One of the things that Chief Idowu shared with us yesterday. So first of all, everybody knows that Boston is on, the federal radar. But you also, one of the things that came up yesterday was Boston has 4 key areas that we're known for. One is education. One is medical. The other one is, our tourism space and whatnot. And I forgot the other area, but we are an education mecca. MIT just went under the radar. Harvard is under the radar. Side note, after what Harvard did to Dr. Gay, being an education mecca, where I thought the mayor was getting ready to go with what she was saying about the accident and the federal issues, these first responders, police, fire, budget, these things we have to pay attention to. And that is, one of the reasons that early on why we invited the mayor to come in and have a different level of conversation, according to what I observed from you all, my life experience, to get a deeper dive into these issues. And so we, a lot of municipalities and states generally need to gear up. But when you are on the radar of someone that doesn't like our Trust Act and various things that, make us who we are here in Boston. They were talking about selling the JFK building. Quiet as kept. I got a text yesterday to someone that works there. That office is falling victim to Doge. So we got to pay attention. And all politics are local. So let's go in the comments and see what folks are saying so far as we allow the mayor to transition. We may have a little bit delay in our second segment with the ABCD tax prep folks, but let's go in and check the comments. Let me start with Instagram to see who is on over there. Shout out to Wave General, Jovan First, Queen Mother Official, Red Glasses Chick, Casemiro, Miss G, MP, I think that's Jeannie, and then Monica MZM is over on Instagram as well. Let's go in the comments here on Facebook. Pam, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Also, Belinda, good morning. She shares that I am so proud of you, Mayor Wu. That interview in Washington showed your fighter side and you were excellent. Miss Teresa says Worcester will soon come under fire because Worcester just joined the lawsuit against the current administration to dismantle Department of Education. The level of petty and payback and things like that is just crazy. Okay. I just got breaking news that in just a few moments, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley just made an announcement or is making an announcement that she is endorsing Mayor Wu. It just came out, just broke in the Globe. The mayor's going to get a camera on and we're going to. Okay. So I got a whole lot going on. Hold on. So, okay. The mayor's getting ready to come in. Tech check. I just got a text, breaking news, that Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley just endorsed Mayor Wu. We're going to talk about that a little bit toward the end because I want to allow the mayor go into some of the policy things. We're going to talk about White Stadium. We're going to talk about street infrastructure. I just saw Loud Minds pop in, who was with us at the State of the City. We're going to talk about some highlights from that as well. And so Representative Ayanna Pressley endorses Boston Mayor Michelle Wu in re-election race against, and this is what the title says, against Josh Kraft. So, I think we're going to take a commercial. No, we're going to wait. As soon as our mayor comes in, we're going to talk about policy, and then we'll talk about that as well. And, you know, it is, I will say this, and I stand unequivocally in this space, and I've mentioned it before in some other races. When you are in a transition of a federal government and or state, generally, you want the stability of an administration because they know the roller coaster, the ins and outs. And with all the stuff that's going on and our Congresswoman having an idea of local issues and then also being in the national, shout out to her and the mayor that held it down in DC weeks ago. So it is just going to be very interesting these next few moments. So we're going to get our mayor back in and we're going to talk about White Stadium. We're going to talk about street infrastructure, highlights from the state of the city. And also she has an event coming up this Friday too. This Saturday. And so speaking of April 5th, I've seen a lot of chatter. There are a lot of actions scheduled for April 5th. But the other chatter that I've seen is that folks aren't participating. So if you choose not to participate, we got an option, something for you to do on Saturday as well. Let's go in and check some more of the comments. All right, we got folks popping in and out, but we're gonna hold it down. Uh-oh, Pastor Marion's okay. United we stand, divided we fall. We need to stand united. Absolutely. Folks are responding to the news from Congresswoman Pressley endorsing Mayor Wu. You all know that I've not made a whole lot of commentary, and for now we're gonna focus and keep it like that. Belinda, my hair braider went back to Africa for a funeral, and I'm worried that she won't get back in because she is a Black immigrant. She is legal and successful and a successful business owner. And why is ICE kidnapping people like escaped slaves? I mean, Belinda, that's a whole nother piece in itself. You're going to talk about the meeting yesterday a little bit. Loud was asking me, or I say Loud, but Brother Ian was asking me about the meeting yesterday. So a few things going on. Belinda's point that it is just very interesting right now that a lot of these ICE agents are covering their faces and wearing masks and things like that. And, I guess they, in the climate of things may not want their faces out there or whatever, but you're law enforcement. Or is it guilt? Or are they being ordered to do it and want to keep their jobs and they really don't have, any other choice? But the way that they kidnapped that woman in from Tufts, yeah, it's just very interesting. We do want to also acknowledge in Wisconsin the winning of the Supreme Court judge to be Crawford in Wisconsin. That happened yesterday as well. And also just as far as some actions in DC. Okay, we got the mayor. She's getting ready to call. Mayor, you not good. This is all right. Let's get ready to bring our mayor back. So we're going to start with policy and give you a chance to set up. There was some breaking news that just happened. You probably knew, but I didn't know. I don't know whether you knew when it was going to come out. All right. Policy, and then we're going to jump into the breaking news. So first and foremost, is this Myra's first? Yeah, well, outside. This is Myra's first appearance on Java with Jimmy. Yes?
Yeah, I guess she's been on for 9 months technically before this, but yeah.
Welcome, she's getting big.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's getting big.
The way we have to do it is basically Connor will drop the kids off because they're in the 9:30 start time for school, and then usually meet me later in the day. So when something's in this hour or when something's in school pickup hour, she's just with me and everything. Yeah, she's almost doubled her weight at this point over 2.5 months. So little sis is a good eater.
Okay. So Mayor, you know me, I got a lot going on, so I'm going to try to manage everything. So first let's, and if folks in the background could tell me what time, we also want to be sensitive and allow some time for you to cross over with ABCD too, because the city of Boston is a part of the Tax Prep Coalition. But let's jump into some policy, Mayor. So the last couple of times we've talked about White Stadium. I don't know if there's any significant updates there. You announced last time the task force. Supply diversity was a huge issue for folks. White Stadium, any updates? And it might be a good transition for street infrastructure because I know, as a resident in this area, sometimes I've tweeted about traffic and you'll be like, hey, where are you at? I'm not too far from you. Traffic is interesting. And so if you could give us an update on White Stadium and also any updates around street infrastructure, there were some changes coming. Some things are coming up. Some things may become permanent. Where are we with White Stadium and street infrastructure? Loaded question.
Yeah, White Stadium my two favorite topics. White Stadium is moving along. We have had the first meetings of the Supplier Diversity Advisory Commission, and some of the contracts have also already been awarded with local companies through this collaboration. So it's already, I think, off to a pretty successful start there. We're going to be in the midst of construction season there for some time. And I think the last point is we had the final sort of trial I forget what this stage of the trial is called, but when they call the witnesses and do all the arguments before the judge, that happened early last week or the week before. And so we're still waiting to hear back on that front. And in the meantime, I keep hearing from our students, student athletes, and coaches. They have their plans that they're ready to go, and very eager to make sure that this is moving as fast as it can. And then on street infrastructure, there's no one thing. There are 800 plus miles of roadway in the city of Boston, and at this point, a lot of the plans that started under Mayor Menino are kind of spreading throughout a lot of the city. And so we're looking to make sure that in all the places that it has been built, whether it's under our administration or Mayor Walsh or Mayor Janey or Mayor Menino, that we keep having that conversation with community members about what's working, what's not working, and make adjustments where it makes sense. Obviously, safety is the most important thing. Everyone has to be safe on our roadways, people who are driving, people who are walking, people who are riding a bike, and design is a huge part of that. But we also have to make sure that delivery trucks can do what they need to do to support our small businesses and parking and all that fits together. So today I'm actually going out to Mass Ave with the team to look at kind of how the infrastructure has been working and what some of the changes have been and could be, as just one example of how we're really going to go kind of block by block on this stuff and get it right.
And if folks remember, and it still amazed me, Mayor, when you were on before, that if folks really listen to what you said, this model in municipalities is kind of like a test, see what works in a temporary setup, and then what doesn't work, it's easier to take it down, and then what does work is permanent. And so a lot of people really didn't hear that, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. So okay, thank you for that.
For example, American Legion is a good example where it was initially, because there had been multiple crashes constantly with drag racing down that road. They really did that the goal wasn't to install a bike lane. It was to make sure that people could use the road more safely. It has been safer because of that, but then it just looks weird because there's all these white poles the whole way down, and then there's this gigantic bike lane that isn't really often used because it wasn't designed for that purpose. It's designed how it is according to the specifications, but we didn't change the roadway 8 years ago because of bike appetite. It was because of safety. And so now we really should have the conversation. Are we building the sidewalk all the way out? Are we somehow, moving everything up to the curb? Are we changing the curb just to get it out of this feeling where it's all these posts surrounding you everywhere that get knocked down and
taken down?
And it doesn't feel like how the city should feel. And oftentimes can be confusing for people too.
So one of the things, Mayor, that I don't want to jump around too much, but we, in my role as a commissioner, we got to sit with you yesterday around the budget, and there was, some ambiguity and if you saw me, I was like, I'm like, wait, where's the PowerPoint? Where's the numbers? There's a lot of ambiguity based on what's going on. And I was going to ask like the Blue Hill Ave project and things like that, but can you talk a little bit about the budget? I know action just started yesterday. Anything you want to let us know that's going on? Budget does dictate your priorities. We're in an election year. Can you talk to us about the budget where you can a little bit, Mayor, because we got 7 minutes. You did the developer 101 last month. This as a counselor and now mayor. 30 seconds on process. Just 30 seconds, Mayor. Just 30 seconds on process. And then
it's a different process this year too. A little bit of a tweak, but the overall process is that the mayor and administration propose a budget, the council vets it, and they always vote it down the first time as a way to keep the conversation going. And then at some point, the council will submit back their amendments to this. The administration then can either veto those amendments or accept them, and then they have a final vote on whether to override the parts that were vetoed or not. So there's like a little bit of like this ping pong back and forth, and it ends up getting focused on really small tweaks at the end. So this year we really wanted to be intentional, partnering with Ways and Means Chair, Councillor Brian Morrell, and thanks to him for his amazing leadership in starting the process even earlier than it has in the past. So instead of the council getting the budget and then starting to think about it and look at it, when everything was really kind of separated into buckets already, he started having hearings with the administration and the public a long time ago. And the council then sent us basically their demands, their requests in terms of what they wanted to see in the budget already this week, that will then get incorporated even in the very first draft of the budget that we send over to them.
Okay, so an advantage there is, and if you could talk for a couple of seconds, is there's ambiguity because we've been seeing news. Shagun shared yesterday that, there are 4 pillars that keep sort of the economy and things going in Boston. There's ambiguity because we don't know what's going on at the federal level. In some, what is the impact of what's going on in Washington on the ambiguity here in our budget?
Yeah, there's the direct impact, which is $300 million of federal funds that we rely on every single year. And we're seeing federal funds right now being used as kind of a, threat, or if there's a disagreement on policy or values, they're pulled. So we're budgeting in a way, even though locally we're strong, just in case the worst case scenario happens, we could manage through that to keep everyone stable. But we also didn't want to jump ahead of that, because if, for example, we were cut by a huge amount of funding, we would have to have layoffs. And that has a huge impact, not only in the workforce and people who are supporting their families, but in city services and what residents will get. So we're in this sweet spot of being really intentional, sort of tightening things up to be prepared in case that happens, but not jumping out ahead and preemptively cutting city services because we know they're needed now more than ever.
The thing that comes to mind too is when you had, when I said it was October, it was actually October of 23 when this commercial sort of tax thing started, and you started predicting it was around the time of this AAA credit rating or whatever. So you and the governor basically have to keep, I know Boston isn't called rainy day fund, but you got to keep a cushion, for lack of better words, just in case. Okay. So though you started early, numbers should be coming out soon around, I think by charter, numbers have to be public by a certain, that's next Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? And so that's going to be very interesting. A couple of things we got to squeeze into. Mayors.
You'll see it's tradition that there's a budget breakfast to announce to the council and go over everything. Yep. This year it will be, we're tightening up everywhere. So it will be like probably budget muffins instead of budget breakfast, just to set expectations for everyone. But we mean it.
Biscottis and coffee, and that's it.
Munchkins and coffee, yeah.
All right. The state of the city, you had that. There was a lot, Mayor, there was a lot that was announced. Is this, you're taking on a lot in plans for, this year, even with budget considerations. What are the 2 top things from the state of the city, and where you can tie in? Okay. State of the city, top priorities. I just got word that you have been endorsed publicly out loud by our good friend, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, and then you have an event on Saturday. So, Mayor, I'm going to line you up. Budget, state of the city, response, endorsement, and Saturday. Let's go.
Okay. It's like, I got to run, I got to hit this thing, and then run over here, dive under the pole. Okay.
The alley-oop is there, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's really all connected in that this is a really challenging moment. And that means we have to be really intentional about our resources and how we support our residents through city government. And it also means standing with the people who are fighting for our communities. So on State of the City and the budget, housing. We've been doing everything possible there. And we even announced some new programs for how to help people buy homes. A lot of Boston's housing is triple deckers, for example, and you might be able to afford
one unit of a triple decker for your first home, but not the whole building. But if you come together with friends or multiple generations of a family, then you could really build wealth and be secure in the community and neighborhood. So there's a program called co-purchasing that Sheila Dillon and the city have, our chief of housing and her shop have put together, where you can get some support for down payment to do that, and all the support to make sure the legal documents and all of that are in order to make it a little easier for families to purchase their homes and stay in Boston. We also are expanding our Family Days program. So for every child, every student growing up in the city of Boston, you can go to free museums. You can now go to free revolutionary sites that are connected to Boston's history, especially as we're headed into the 250th anniversary next year of the country. And you can now go to free shows like the ballet, the symphony, theater, etc. So that's been a fun one to see, and how many families have taken advantage of that. And Saturday is the official campaign launch. I've been saying it's been coming. I had a couple things to take care of, but I'm really excited. We'll be at the Cyclorama this Saturday, 2 p.m. So come on by, and I will be joined in what is a huge, humbling honor by my sister in service, our Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, whose support I'm just so grateful to have, but more importantly, whose partnership has been so impactful for the city and so meaningful to me personally as well.
As two women of color at this time, Mayor, I just wanted to, ask the terms like we won't get into all of that because we want to also allow time with where you can. One quick thing that I did not get a chance and an opportunity for you to speak to, Dr. Yablo covered it, yesterday, but there was a lot of chatter about the mayor and Reggie Lewis. Any response to that, to the incident, that happened, youth jobs, and also where you can within 15 seconds of the budget and federal impact of youth jobs this year? Any updates that you want to give there? So then we'll let you go.
I think first, there's no question that anywhere our young people are in the city, they need to be safe, and their families need to know that there's going to be no question that they're taken care of and that they are safe. I think with the particular situation that we're talking about here, I don't want to minimize the efforts that went into putting on an amazing event. We had employers from all around the city. We had more than 5,000 students registered for the 4-hour jobs fair. We ended up having over 2,200 students check in and were already at the fair by the time the disruption happened, about halfway through that period. And last year we had 1,800 students total at one job fair. This year we were planning this job fair again, and then got huge registration, but already had 4 other major job fairs planned at different schools around over the next couple weeks, as well as another about over a dozen mini pop-up job fairs at community centers and things like that. So there are lots of other opportunities. Students can go online and look through the postings and apply that way as well. But I just, sometimes there is sometimes some people have an agenda to make it seem like wherever our young people are, it's unsafe and this and that. So this is what happened, right? And people like Isaac, who are tapped in every day and connected to our young people and everything that's happening, know the sort of facts on the ground, that there was a bit of beef on social media that spilled over in person. No one was seriously injured, and there was a scuffle that led to, I think, a sense of panic, because then people had, this is again what I'm told, briefed from the situation that happened. Somebody yelled or thought that there was a weapon, that someone had a gun, and then it caused sort of a mass panic. That turned out not to be true. By that point, it was, the situation had happened. So I think for next year, we are looking to, maybe schedule different slots to make sure people have a sense of what half-hour slot or what hour slot they'd be
Stagger
going,
them.
just to
Yep.
manage the interest in all of that, and do other things to guarantee that we know safety's front and center. But I do want to make sure, to thank all of those who participated. And there are many other job fairs set up that we're going to keep doing. We had more than 10,000 young people doing paid summer jobs last summer, the most that the city has ever
So
this year.
Mayor, that's probably a good sign, because I saw you freeze there. I'm just putting up some of the things that Dr. Yablo shared last night, and so I'll go over them. So speaking of summer jobs, and you can't talk summer jobs in the city of Boston without talking ABCD Summer Works. ABCD Summer Works is a huge partner with the city of Boston and also in the Tax Prep Coalition. And so we're getting ready to bring Bianny on screen and allow you two to just cross over for a second. The city of Boston is a part of that coalition. And so Mayor Bianny, Mayor, I'm sure you guys have been in the same spaces around announcements and things like that. And so Mayor, any shout out you want to give to ABCD when we're talking, because Mayor, 70% of the people, 80% of the people from Boston who have been on here are SummerWorks kids. We all went through SummerWorks. So, but ABCD Tax Prep Free Program, your partnership there, what would you like to say about the coalition and the partnership with ABCD?
Yeah, they do so much. So thank you, Bianny, for your work, and to everyone at ABCD. As James is saying, you're one of our biggest summer employers, if not the biggest, and that changes lives. But the tax help program is also a sort of decades-long tradition that has really, really helped residents. This year especially, there's a lot of different incentives or tax break that you might qualify for, depending on if you have kids, if you're a senior, this and that. So please go see them and make sure you have a professional helping you. It's free, it's available, and in multiple languages as well, I'm told. So we want to make sure that everyone, taxes unfortunately are a thing that keep us going together, and it pays for parks and public safety and schools and all that, but we only want you to pay what you should be paying and not more than that. So please go see ABCD.
And especially, no pun intended, but, earn income tax credits with, children. And I know there's qualifications, but I just thought about that as we're talking about taxes. But Mayor, thank you. Bianny, just a couple of seconds if you wanted to greet the mayor, and then we're going to allow you time to go a little bit deeper about what the mayor was talking about. If we can get your mic on, we'll be good. There you go. I think we heard something. Nope, not yet. Wave good morning, and we'll let the mayor go and work out the tech in the background. Mayor, thank you so much. Give Myra a hug for me, and next time we see her, she'll be walking in kidney garden. Talk to you soon. Thank you. All right, Bianny, we're going to try to get this worked out here. Let me know. I'll be able to hear when you get sound. Try it again there, and we'll. What we're going to do is take a quick break. And we will be right back with you in just a couple of seconds.
For the innovators, the dreamers, the risk takers, independent workers who keep our neighborhoods thriving, Connector Care from the Massachusetts Health Connector has plans for every lifestyle and budget.
Having access to affordable healthcare is for everyone in our community.
Connector Care plans help more people save on healthcare that covers all their needs. Find out if you qualify for Connector Care. Visit mahealthconnector.org or call 1-877-MA-ENROLL.
All right, we're getting some of the tech worked out in the background. Don't forget Connector Care. I actually got to update my application. Speaking of applications and dates, we want to remind you that the HEAP also from ABCD is available, and we put the link in the comments earlier, but we want to make sure that you have them or have it here. Let me just find it for you to know that by April 30th, if you're going to apply for fuel assistance, you need to do that by April 30th. All right, I'll put the link back in. We are working on Bianny. I think we have her in. Let's see if we have sound.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, there you go. We got you. Awesome. Beautiful. Good to finally have you here. And we're going to talk about tax prep. I've heard so many great things about you. And so let's go into tax prep. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, because I always find it interesting to learn about people that go into such a tax prep is and not saying that you're a tax preparer, but just tell us a little bit about you and how you landed in this space and sort of being this expert around making sure the community knows that these services are available.
Yes, so I've been with ABCD. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Bianny Suncar. I'm the director of the ABCD Mattapan Family Service Center, and I also oversee the tax program for our department, which is Community Coordination. It's a network of neighborhood sites. I've been with ABCD for a little bit over 16 years, and I started literally, well, I was a summer course kid. So I know we were talking about that earlier with the mayor. And then after high school, I went on to my undergrad, and I decided I wanted to pursue working with the community. So ABCD was definitely the perfect option. And so I joined ABCD, was a summer works youth, was a volunteer, and then I got into case management. And that's where I really learned about the taxes and all the other services that ABCD offers, just like fuel and other services. And so it's been a long time coming, learning about how everything works. And now I'm in a space that I'm able to speak on, how the program works. And it's really a good resource for our community. It's free for folks who are making under $67,000. And we really encourage all the preparers to really check for the credits. It's huge. The earned income tax credit for a married filing jointly couple with children, 3 or more, are getting a little over $10,000 in refunds. And that is huge for our community and for getting folks back on track. And then the state is also offering a Massachusetts family child care credit for dependents at $440 for each dependent. Doesn't matter. There's no max in dependents, as long as they're under the age of 13. So there are really good credits out there that folks are eligible for. We ensure that all of our clients.
Hold on, Bianny, because we see you're an expert and you jump right in to, and I want to slow down a little bit to make sure that, first of all, there were and are a lot of changes going on in tax code. And so if you could just sort of review, you don't have to go into the code, but just sort of review and make plain to the audience some of the things that you just mentioned about, the requirements. You can mix in, ABC or the coalition's requirements around income to be eligible. But I really want to make sure that folks understand what they're eligible for the prep assistance. And then once they get the taxes prepared, what they need to, just in case a preparer might miss something, they can be informed and say, I got 3 kids and that equals da 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 da. You know what I mean? And I believe that is the goal, of what you do.
Yes, it is. So we have IRS volunteers who are trained and certified to prepare income tax returns. So your personal taxes, whether you're individual, you're married, or you're head of household with kids. So we ensure that your return is prepared completely, ensuring that you get your credits. We e-file it, so we submit it electronically. And then we give our clients or the taxpayers a copy of their return so that when they leave our office, there's nothing else that you have to do. We do it all for you. We submit it. We give you a copy for your records. And should you receive an audit letter, which sometimes happens, unfortunately out of our control, you have the information and the materials handy to be able to answer any questions that they may have. But once you leave our offices, you're leaving with a full completed tax return.
I'm sorry. One of the major things that maybe we should have started out with, this one right here.
Yes.
One of the most important things, Bianny. And so that is key. And just from your knowledge, let's say some people, as much as we're sharing the information and whatnot, let's say some people know they're not going to make this deadline. What is it that they should do with the E word? They should file for
an extension. If you know that you're not going to be able to make it by, April 15th is a deadline to make a payment if you owe. So even though April 17th is the last day, you do need to, if you think that you're going to owe, it's important to do an extension before April 15th. That way you have a little bit of time. They give you up until October to complete your returns. Okay.
The other piece is we want to remind folks that ABCD offers free tax assistance at 11 neighborhood sites, 2 satellite locations. Interpretation is available in Spanish, Haitian Creole, Cape Verdean Creole, Portuguese, French, Vietnamese, and Mandarin. And I missed that. Well, it's unfortunately not showing up limited characters there, but Mandarin and Cantonese as well. Bianny, how important is, presumably you speak another language. How important is it to you that ABCD has this tax prep available in other languages?
It's very important. I mean, when we are looking into staffing and volunteers, we really ensure that we're able to mirror the community that we're serving. So you mentioned that we have 11 sites. We have covering all the neighborhoods of Boston. And as we know, each neighborhood of Boston has a different dynamic of the languages that the community speaks. So we try to mirror with our staff and volunteers what the language primarily speaks, so that we have people that are able to communicate in their own language. Taxes is difficult. It's very hard to understand. And so if you're speaking to somebody in a language that they might not be comfortable with, it might not work better. But if you have somebody that is able to speak their language, then that transition, that transaction can go smoothly.
I definitely agree. And it's always good to have someone that, looks like you, speaks like you, especially when you're talking about like tax code and medicine and whatnot. And so I do want to make sure that I remind folks that I believe I put it in earlier, but I want to put it in again so people can go directly and get ABCD's tax service information. So if you go in the comments right now, it is hyperlinked, bostonabcd.org/service, because there's a lot of them that ABCD offers, and also tax assistance as well. And so, Bianny, what if you were to, you're talking to an audience right now. Can we go over some of the key things that people need to have with them when they are getting their taxes prepared? Some take for granted that you only need an ID and your W-2s. You need more than that. Let's review some of those. I have a list in front of me to help us, but because I
know it by memory.
Now, so, don't say that, because I got the list. I'm gonna test you. All right, go. So
it really depends on the individual case, of course, but the basics that everybody needs is their ID and social security card to confirm identity. And then their tax forms as well. So tax forms will vary depending on what type of income the person had. So you could have W-2s if you were working, or 1099s if you were considered self-employed, or a contractor, for example. So we need to understand what your income was. So that's where the 1099s or W-2s come from.
And then, can you have a combo?
You could have a combo, yes. And we have found that there has been a lot of combos because people have side jobs or second job, depending on their situation. So you might have multiple forms, multiple W-2s, multiple jobs, or multiple 1099s. So bring all of them in that have to do with the tax year 2024, and we will take care of you. Additionally, we do need to know like what your household composition is. So we need socials for any like a spouse or children, and then we need proof of health insurance, because as you know, Massachusetts does have a health mandate, so we have to be able to report that.
And that is called your 1099 8C, because I can't tell you how many years it's come and I put it somewhere in the corner and I go to get my taxes done, and it is the one form, and you pay a penalty technically if you can't prove that you had, health insurance. Okay, so we have the 1099 8C about health insurance. We're learning that you can have multiple W-2s, 1099s, and then also that's the proof of health insurance. All right, you got a few more to go. We still see.
So depending if you're a student, then we're looking for a 1098-T to determine like tuition and fees. If we have deductions for childcare, we're looking for those deductions as well. If you're a senior, we're really looking into seeing if seniors qualify for the Massachusetts Senior Circuit Breaker. That's big this year because they're getting a little bit over $2,000 back in a refund. So we're looking for either what their home mortgage is or what their rent is paying.
Can I ask a question? Because we have a lot of seniors in the Java Cafe. Is that applicable to those that are on fixed income?
So it has to do with your income and then how much you're paying for housing. So it is a percentage. So if you're paying a little bit of a percentage over of your income, then you might be eligible. But we do have to check with the system because it's not something that we can check like right with the documents. Okay. All right.
You got a couple more. You covered the 98 E.
Okay. Yes. So if you are a former student and now you're paying student loans, they do give you a 1098E, which is a student loan interest form, which we put into your taxes as well.
And if you're a parent that is paying for, my good brother here is paying for a nephew's education down there at Morehouse. If if you're a parent paying that loan,
The parent
should
able to
be-
collect it.
Okay. All right. We got a couple more. Go ahead. You're doing good.
So depending on the income as well, we can also, now that we're talking about seniors, we can also put in this so Social Security income, which is a Form 1099 SSA. This is retirement income. And then we can do interest income. If you have, a savings account and you're accruing interest, you can put that into your taxes as well. Unemployment, which is 1099G, and pensions, which is a 1099R. So those are the different types of income that a person could have in addition to the jobs or that self-employment. Yep.
Go ahead. You got one small one that I haven't heard yet, but go ahead.
Childcare expenses, is that the one? That
No, you did cover that one.
Yeah,
This isn't. I'll give you a hint. This isn't necessarily a 10 anything form.
Bank information. I mean, if you want to get your refund sent to you into your bank, you need to bring us your banking information. So routing and account number, because we really want to strive for folks to get it sent to them directly. The mail is great, but it does take a little while. So we want to make sure that you get it as soon as possible. And that's the fastest. That's the fastest.
I'm not going to make any USPS statements right now while our guests are here. All right. And then bank statement should presumably be also the proof of current address as well. Right?
Yes.
It should be. Okay. Mm-hmm. You got everything. I had to, shout out to Jamie for making sure we had everything here, and I've floated back and forth, but you got everything. The main thing that we wanted to accomplish today was to let folks know that this service is available. One of the things, and it's probably in here and I just don't see it, but is there a phone number? Oh yeah.
Yes.
Never mind. Typical man. It's right here. Hold on. I'm going to put it there. So there is the website that I did put in the comments. For those of you that want to go to the website and sign up and go. Now you don't necessarily have to go downtown. There are 11 locations. I have a question here, Bianny, if you don't mind. Teresa from Worcester is asking, what about the forms from PayPal? Are you familiar with that?
I am. Those are forms 1099K. Unfortunately, they are for us.
As income.
As income. So you do prepare those. Unfortunately, that would be out of scope for our program because we have some limitations with VITA.
With VITA?
Yeah. So we are part of the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance program with IRS, and so we do have some limitations of what income we can take and what income we cannot. And unfortunately, PayPal is one of those.
Okay.
But it is a Form 1099K, and you do your taxes with that.
Okay.
I did want to mention also that for your link, make it easier. Just go to bostonabcd.org/tax, and then you can get right into our free tax assistance webpage at ABCD. So really simple.
All right, you ain't gonna do me because I did the well. So the thing is, that's how it's typed. But when I copy and paste the link, it comes up with the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead. I just get scared because, when I type, you're good. When I type, there might be a typo in there. So bostonabcd.org/tax. I'm a BPS graduate. So I is smart. I is kind. No. All right. So did I get it right, Bianny? bostonabcd.org/tax. That's the easy one. However,
the easy one, yes.
If you don't want to type it, it is the hyperlink in the comments as well. And the good thing about that is if you can't do it right now and you want to go back on your break and go into the comments, you can do that. I just want to acknowledge some of the benefit of you coming today. We have the Real Boston Media, who I hope will help spread the word about this, where they said, oh, wow, I thought it was the 14th and the 17th. They said the 17th is workable.
Call us before the 14th, though, the 17th, because we want to make sure that you don't, we want to make sure you need to look at keep that date of the 14th, Real Boston Media. Also, if you are on SSI or SSDI, you'll still need your statement, which is interesting because, never mind, because that's a federal entity. So they should, never mind. I'm going to leave it alone. Can I add something to that, though? Because that might not be taxable depending on what your situation is. So you can bring it in and have somebody look at it and see if it really needs to be put into your taxes.
Okay. All right. But this is the thing that is so important to either go to this link, or if you're not on the internet and choose not to and want to ask questions, you can call 617-348-6329 and ask questions. Let them know that you saw Bianny on Java with Jimmy, and that's why you calling. Just so ABCD can know that we having some influence out here. No, I'm messing. But Bianny, I am aware that you got a lot going on, and you've taken this time to sacrifice to be with us today. And so I want to make sure that we thank you and make sure we do a quick review of the fact that filing day is on the 17th. If you are kind of confident that you don't owe, if you owe, you should definitely apply for an extension before April 15th.
Yes.
And either way, if you are going to be past April 17th, you should apply for an extension anyway, but especially before the 14th or 15th if you owe.
Yes.
There are 11 sites available throughout the city of Boston. Now, you went through the documents.
Yes.
What? You know what I'm about to ask?
I have an idea.
Come on, we can do it together. Okay. All right. Let's start from, I don't know, South End, Lower Roxbury. Which one is that? Is that Parker Street?
So that's Columbus Avenue, South End.
Okay. All right, South End. Yeah. Yep. And then we got Parker Street.
Parker Street, which is on our Parker Hill Fenway office.
714.
714, yes.
Then we got
Rosedale.
You're way up there. We're not up there yet. We're coming up. Then we got Roxbury, which is 565 Warren Street. Well, yes. Thelma Bird. Well, 565 Warren Street in Roxbury. Then we go a little bit up to Dorchester, where we have 110 Claiborne Street. Then we are in where?
We can go up north to our East Boston location.
Okay, yeah, well, you can't leave out East Boston because they always feel left out like they across the pond. We have East Boston. Okay, where are we at? About 6 or 7, I think.
I haven't been counted, but then we have our Malden one as well. We do cover that area, Malden, Medford, and Everett, which is a little up, if I'm looking at the map correctly, from East Boston. So that's that side of Boston. And then we have. Then we come out to this side. Then we have Mattapan, which is on 535 River Street.
Okay.
We have Rosendale, which is on Corinth Street, right in Rosendale Village.
Okay. And that's And that's the 11.
And then we have South Boston. I don't know if we mentioned our South Boston office.
So we did okay. I'm trying to see if Jamie's head is nodding in the background or not, but and
I missed one more because we do have our North End location that acts as a satellite site. So, and our central office. Well, I can't forget our central office at 178 Tremont.
So I was going to name downtown, but I wasn't sure if downtown did it, direct services. And so definitely right there across from the common services there as well. So we got most of them. If not all, we definitely had to name central as well. But again, I just wanted to thank you and remind folks that they can call 617-348-6329. Or they can go to boston.org/tax and find out where these sites are and also look at the eligibility requirements and also other services. For example, don't forget if you're applying for fuel assistance, the deadline is April 30th. Well, someone's like, well, Jimmy, it's not as cold and whatnot. What do you mean it's still available?
Yes.
So I remember one year I applied late for a bill. So I think we got everything. Oh, Jamie said, bravo, we did good. So that means a lot. Yes. Bianny, thank you. And as things, and I would like to extend to you now, I believe if I'm right, a lot of tax codes are going to change. Is it the end of the federal fiscal year or is it the end of this calendar year? I believe some federal codes and stuff are changing soon. Whatever the case, if and when you need to, just let Jamie know. And we can keep our community abreast and maybe also trying to do it after dark again so we can have maybe some real conversations about, it's the feds. Don't, I'm not going to get us in trouble. I'll be trying to go in there with falsified documents. So you saw Bianny's eyebrow. That's not. Yeah, we need to do it after dark. Okay. Bianny, before I get you in trouble, and we will talk soon. And thank you for being here. And I'll reiterate the information and let you get to work there. And thank you for your flexibility and crossing over with the mayor as well.
No, thank you for having me. And it was nice chatting with everybody. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jamie and Lee and Jen and Eva Maureen and folks in the background. And we'll let you know the next time we're having a session with ABCD. I'm going to go do some commentary, Bianny, and we'll chat soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Folks, we were glad to have Bianny in the building, along with our mayor as well. And so please take it. Listen, while these services are available, take advantage of them. And I'm just going to leave that there. Today is Tuesday. What's today? Today's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll close out the week for Thankful Thursday, which is my Friday. We'll close out the week. And that is it for me. We will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. For those of you that are just joining now, Java with Jimmy started at 9 a.m. this morning. So if you're just jumping on right now, you're going to have to go back and watch the rewatch with the mayor. You know what, Milton? Jimmy, don't do her like that. You see him torturing her for the info, whatever. Milton! So I got to give you a shout out. He did come on at 10 and didn't know that the mayor was, and probably in a different time zone because this brother he just needed to let us know that he's on the beach right now. All right. With that being said, we're going to get ready to go and we will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget when we're talking about the taxes and also youth jobs that on April 9th, which is next Wednesday, there is a youth job fair at East Boston High School from 12:30 to 2, Madison Park High School on April 10th and 16th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. At Charlestown High School, April 17th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And if you would like information about the Boston Community Safety resources and activities, follow them on IG. Also, as we just discussed this morning, tax filing deadline is on April 17th. If you owe, you need to file for an extension before the 15th. I need to email my tax preparer, Lord Jesus. All right, we're going to get off of here. See you guys tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Thanks for being with us, and we shall see you tomorrow at 10. Peace, everybody.